Okay,
It's,
you're live.
how you going, Bob?
Good.
How you doing, mate? Yeah, this is our live stream presentation of the ACT Shipwrights show, and feel free to tell us a little bit about the show.
Well, thank you. Well, as you can see, my name's Bob Evans, and I've been fortunate enough to be president of this club for I don't know how many years. But this is our annual Expo, which for quite a number of years now, through the good grace of Mount Rogers, for whom we are very, very thankful. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. We'll go and have a look at what we've got on.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So we try to have a reasonable mix of, this is a demonstration table, and one of our Steve here, demonstrating machine that is quite mysterious to me.
So 3D printers,
Yes,
I think.
3D printers.
Right. Okay. And looks like you've got quite a variety of things already printed out. And so this is open to businesses who want to actually display anything that's to do with, or is it
not so much businesses, but our members
just
who,
members and presenting?
Yeah.
Okay. And
all right. So moving right along, Peter here will be demonstrating rope making.
Rope making.
Okay, so effectively this display is showing more advanced tools that the model makers in Shipwright actually undertake, things from a lathe where tools for cutting our planks to generations of rope makers from one of the originals, effectively still operating on the same principle of thread coming through, being twisted and rotated onto a spool. So we end up with our different types and sizes of rope, whether it's left hand or right hand. And of course, various colours and the sizes. This is much one. In the type of rope, this would be more for the shrouds. This is the generation. This is one that was for company, just push button and let it do its thing. Makes life much easier. This one being like the earlier versions, it's a little bit more testing to actually factor the actual rope itself.
Is this like sorry, I'm interrupting a little bit here, but is this like a cheats sort of way out? Is it all done by hand originally?
It's the same technique that was done by hand in the old days, where they would actually set up strands, the individual strands. As you can see here, there's individual strands of rope that would actually be bound together, and it would do the same thing. It would be rotated in one direction to loosen the strand while being rotated together in a group of 3 or 4 in the opposite direction to actually create the rope.
Okay.
And of course, when you have multiple ropes, you then get 4 of them together and rotate them. You then create cable, which is the much heavier stuff that you have for anchors and the like.
Yeah, that's when it's probably more exact using these machines.
Well, they use machines now for them in days, but most of it's actually graded these days. It's not actually it's actually graded rope. And of course, at the other end, once you've got your rope, when eyes are created or joins in ropes are created, you've actually got to serve what they call serve the joint, and that's a matter of stretching out a section, and then with a much finer twine, connecting it around the rope. And then it's a matter of rotating and creating parallels. As you can see, a much tighter and parallel termination, and then that's cut off. And that actually binds the rope together.
How beautiful is that? Yeah, very quickly too.
Of course, this is a hydraulic way of doing it. Of course, there's always an electrical or mechanicalized way of doing it too, for those who don't want to sit there for hours rotating manually by hand.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is the stuff. This end is more to do with our rigging, and of course, rigging is 50% of any model ship build. The rest of it, the masting and planking, that's the other 50% of building the ship.
I would disagree with Peter there. I think it's about 50%. I'd say
I see competition going on. Okay, yeah, no.
if people are interested, there's no doubt a YouTube subject video on the HM dockyard in Chatham, where they have, I believe, it is still original rope making machine at least in the United Kingdom, makes rope commercially, and it's a fascinating thing to watch. And they make a really good presentation out.
Fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, there's a topic that could be potentially more explored at a later time.
Oh, there's so many topics.
So many topics.
The actual construction of a plank itself.
Yeah.
It can be a topic in itself. Ships has been ongoing for many years, and the style of planking is, of course, going to be affected by the style of the hull, and whether you plank planks, tapered planks, whether you put in the jigs or checks, which are short sections of planks to fill gaps, or whether you actually terminate a plank because you've actually got too much or too little of a width for that plank to fit in. It's a fascinating subject, and you can look at some model if you don't think about your plank.
Yeah.
So
no
when we
doubt.
get onto that thing, we'll bring it straight back to Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Let's have a look here. We have a table.
See, so this is all, what is this?
It's a table of models under construction, of which we all have many, probably more than we care to admit to. But modelling should be fun, not a contest. So if you're anything like me, I have a garage full of
I think
unbuilt models.
I think you're right. I mean, it is about fun. I mean, I think we're all guilty of that, where you start something and you get excited by another topic, and then you have multiple things going on at the same time.
So you can see here, as Peter was saying before, on the planking. This is one of our members is making this model, but he's filled in between the frames, which is a good way of doing it. It gives a good seating for a plank.
Yeah, beautiful. But obviously, there are different judgments about which types of work could come out the best.
Look, there always will be, and
So the amount of work that people put into it, there's certainly no judgment from me. Like,
this object here is quite obviously holds the model steady whilst you're doing work on it.
Okay.
Normally that would be, I have no doubt, fixed to the workbench so that it doesn't wind up on the floor.
Yeah, okay. And so of all these kits, I mean, I guess, have you got any here yourself?
I do.
We have a look at those. So these are all like they're different scales. So that's 1 to 100. That's 1 to 500 over there. This one's a 1 to 60. What sort of effort goes into these? I mean, what sort of work, what sort of knowledge do you have to even get to this point? I mean, bending wood and things like that.
Bending wood, as I think Peter alluded to earlier, is one of the hardest things to get yourself around. And there are many ways of bending planks, most notably of which is breaking them in the process. Or you can steam them. Just done this one, but it's just the application of it in some shape or form. And
Great so far. So this is all. So these are all the ones which are in the middle of being built. These aren't like that. They're just brought in for people to see what the progress is.
in this expo of ours here, we don't really judge. We have the people's choice,
Right. Okay.
and we have the members' choice,
Right. Yeah.
rather than being judgmental.
Yeah.
So
I guess too, because there's a range of skills here on display, isn't there? Like in terms
absolutely,
of the end
yeah.
result, it's not black and white.
No, I don't think that is this. This is one from a member of the Sydney Model Boat Club. And I can show you more of his work later. It's miniature in the extreme. So this is one that he's just doing a mock-up of
Getting
first.
started. Right. So he's obviously done the research into the scale and how to think about the positioning and
yeah, very much so.
And what the end result is going to be. So this is from what, Michael Bennett?
Yes.
So has he got many kits here?
He's got another 5, I think.
Wow.
But we'll get to them shortly.
Okay, Bob
This
Evans.
is one of mine.
Right.
And I once started an exercise building a model of every ship I've been on, but so far I've got up to 2. So this was a work in progress, which my friends in Task Force 72 advised me I had to motorise.
Oh, so this is motorised?
Well, it was going to be, but as you can see, the upper works are a bit complex, and to have everything removable to gain access. So I've decided I will clamp it all shut and forget that I ever thought about motorised.
I see. So you sort of, but it's still lovely in itself. It still represents a ton of work already.
Yes.
And looking at this, of course, it's probably a normal practice, but I like the no smoking. I mean, you think it would be obvious, but
no, this is front of any tanker of any description.
Yeah.
You'll find signs like this,
Yeah,
pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Like you would think, but
I have managed to get the interiors of Wicked House in there, but not that they're overly visible, which is one of the unfortunate things when you get into detail.
So this table is there a theme to this table? Or
no theme.
No theme. No. But under construction, work in progress.
Yes.
Anthony Marriott.
Just looking at it, I'd say is just a little bit more of the rigging, and he's finished. Other models that you can get if you don't want to build an entire ship, a cross section, which
Gorgeous. Now, was there any ones that stand out for you that are new this year?
they stand out for me every year. Some of them, because of the length of time it'll take to build them all, some make appearances. I don't single out any particular one because they're all built, with a.
And it's a chance for people to see them. It's like otherwise they're private collection at home, and they come out of the cupboard, so to speak, for everyone to see and
One
talk
of the
about.
difficulties, of course, is transportation of models. It's not easy to throw them in the back of the car. And
I mean, I can't think what it would take to transport this in HMV and never here. 1 to 60 scale.
transport them very, very carefully.
But I mean, the rigging is just more evidence of how skilled the modelers are here.
Rigging, from my personal point of view, is torture and agony. But for a lot of people, it's their forte. So, you know. So here we have, this is another one I've put together. Because my interest is more in merchant ships and non-grey vessels.
So was it Chipwright? Okay. Scratch built.
So making not necessarily your imagination, but because my working history is on ships, you can pull things out of your mind and your experience to add to the process.
Beautiful ship.
I love ships in this era because they look like ships.
Like that you've got this scale, and you have the ship that we just saw, but these are different ships. It's Bob Evans one.
This one.
Yeah. So is that the same?
It's the same. Well, they're different scales,
Different
but
scales.
That's what I heard from my son in New Zealand. The trip that's been on board. Hey Dad, can I have a model?
Oh wow.
My dad is transport to New Zealand.
Yes. Scary affair, really. So this is what the Welland. The Welland. So I guess what does it cost in materials for things? It's not that expensive in materials, I would take it. Generally speaking, for model
If you
building,
purchase a good quality kit,
Mm.
that can set you back anything 600 or 700. If you build something from scratch, it tends to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And sourcing materials sometimes is a problem. You learn to use your imagination.
So what's on this one here? We've got
Right. Well,
a variety of. I love this shipyard.
Yes, that's a beautiful kit, that one.
I was taking some images of this earlier, and I was talking with Grant about what he's done here. But I mean, is that like we sort of touch the surface on this sort of stuff, don't we?
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely beautiful, and it's gobsmacking detail too. Because when you get down and start looking at it really closely, it does him a service. But
he's made a lot of additions to the original kit, which is quite often what happens. Maybe you buy a kit and the detail or the quality is not quite what you want.
And of course, this is a very big ship. This one, in scale, 1 to 75.
Yes, the Vasa is a pretty popular subject.
So how often is it this event held? Is it each once a year?
So we hold this event in September of each year. I think we missed 2, maybe 3 years with COVID, but
There he is. Yeah, sneaky around. There's better.
we've bounced back from that, I think.
Yeah, COVID was not a pleasant experience, but I guess it gave some independent time for some modelers to spend.
Well, that's the way I looked at
You
it.
know.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, and time well spent.
So this is another one of mine, which just shows the diversity with the same hobby.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Bob. Lovely.
And again, you know, things like the whale boats, I wasn't satisfied with what came in the kit, so I made my own whale boats and made a few additions to make it look a little bit more reasonable.
Gorgeous. And this has got a little message to kids. They've
Yeah.
been learning about the First Fleet, which brought the first convicts to Australia. There are 11 ships, 2 naval ships, and the HMS Sirius and the HMS Supply, and 9 private ships.
And it's interesting to note that at one point in time, we conducted a model building course here at Mount Rogers School for the kids. And I think we had something like 8 participants.
Oh,
And on one of them, Steve Batcheldor put together a kit, a card kit that the kids could build. So that was one way we had of putting something back into the school.
lovely examples here. So this is the, what's the
Gilland.
The Gilland.
And that's still afloat in Denmark.
Another gorgeous, gorgeous representation. Wow.
Well, again, there was a few things I changed on here. On some of the kits that you get, they're pretty well mass produced for other kits of a similar nature, for the fittings and all that sort of thing.
And I particularly would point out that you get distressed by the rigging, and there's plenty of rigging here. It's absolutely brilliant. Love it.
Any member of this society of ours will tell you what I think about rigging. But some people enjoy it, so it's just a bit of diversity.
But the end result, I mean, you must be absolutely chuffed still every single time you see this work, and all those people that get to enjoy it as well.
It gives me a lot of satisfaction, and I think obviously that's what you do it for.
Yes, exactly.
Now, we mentioned before Mr. Bennett, who makes all these wonderful miniatures. And
yeah, I was taking some images of these earlier, and whilst in person, so if I pull back from you so we can see just what the scale is of these miniatures, they're tiny, tiny. And then when we get closer to these, and you realise the detail just keeps coming and coming and coming. It's a little hard to see in this live stream, but I've taken some photos of it, and I was gobsmacked. I mean, when you look at it with the naked eye, and that's really, to get people down here, at this show and more shows, absolutely, to see this, in person.
Look, the little individual lifeboats and the davits, I forget how many pieces Michael said they were built up from, but it's phenomenal. And the patience that's required is one thing, but the skill to be able to achieve that.
And the ship in the bottle sort of mentality, whilst it's not going into a bottle, it's a whole other art and technique, but the scale of it.
But what I like here, for instance, is the main subject, and then this smaller vessel. It's just
stick that in there. You can hardly see that in this live stream again, but I have taken photos, and we'll put them up as well. But wow, and just the rigging alone. I know that Michael was thinking of you when he did the rigging on this one. But just amazing little ships, tiny, 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 super, super detailed.
Because one of the advantages of models of this nature, of course, is you can put any number in your car
Yeah,
and transport them with relative ease.
yeah, exactly. Oh, let's have a quick look at this
Yeah.
next table then. And we'll finish up with the submarine kits and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what's this? This is a very big scale, 1 to 6. Oh my goodness. That's not bad.
No.
Not bad at all. I mean, this is all, again, it's all, woodwork and lining things up and all the measurements and everything that goes into this. Beautiful.
It is. It can be a very diverse hobby, as you can see, and it caters for all skills, all interests.
So, is this current venue remaining the same next year? As far
Look,
as
I say a little prayer each time we finish that it will be the case. And I say again, the school's been extremely good to us, and hopefully it will continue that way.
Yeah. Okay, and what are these? So this is it Bologna table? Is that like a French ship?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a fishing vessel of some description.
Beautiful. And then we've got the Ben-Circiel. Ben-Circiel?
Well, I'll accept that as a pronunciation.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Well, Circiel. So, well, no, it's actually from an
Artisania Latina.
Latina kit. Is a model of a crab fishing boat. Wow. Okay. Quite beautiful. No, the Pride of the Murray.
Yes. Well,
So I'm told by was it Rob? Was it Riverboat Rob?
No, Robert. This guy who built this one.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm told that the Pride of the Murray actually sank this
Yes,
year.
they transported it, I think, to Longreach,
Oh, yeah.
which is an odd place to have a paddle steamer, but apparently they've retrieved it from the mud and they're going to put it all back together. I think it's lovely to see, traditional old craft like that brought back to life again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the fact that it sank, that's what surprises me. And I think I was talking with him earlier, is the fact that it sank. And when he started this, there was no indication that it was going to sink.
No.
So he started this a lot earlier, and then of course he's only just finished it, and only just finishing it, then it sank, and then it was resurrected, raised, and will be saved.
Well, I think it's true to say that any ship or vessel that you might sail on, you don't really want it to sink.
No, not really.
So,
but what timing, to actually finish the model and then within a scoot of that for that to happen. But amazing model, and another beautiful model here of the Australian.
You mentioned Riverboat Rod. There is, in fact, a Riverboat Rod who has a wonderful collection of steamers. Wellington. Wellington in New South Wales.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people here at the show. Is there anyone that we should annoy with this live stream? Go and say hello.
Yes, you could say hello to this gentleman here who builds those.
Oh,
this is Michael.
I'll just point at you instead.
This is Ross, who you may recall built that.
Hello, how are you? Yeah, it's fantastic, and just looking at
Michael builds those ones that you can barely see.
Right, so it's you're looking at my face now. You're seeing the tiny little dimples in my skin. Right. Okay.
You
well,
can talk
okay.
about that later.
I feel quite nervous and self-conscious right now. But yeah, those are amazing. Those boats. Absolutely fantastic. It's good because I can get down with the camera and get real close and get that detail.
The best way to see them is actually to have your phone and look at.
Was it last year? Newcastle Harbour, which is one of the most fascinating dioramas
Oh yeah.
I have ever seen. Have you seen it?
No. Actually, the Newcastle one. Yeah, I think I did.
It's actually going on display full time at Newcastle Museum. They've actually got it in their warehouse now. It's not at my home anymore.
Yeah, they're putting a new wing on the museum.
Wow. Okay.
They're going to build a display case for it, and then they'll display them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which is a good outcome.
I think I'll want to visit Newcastle now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
And what's happened to your one of Central Railway Station?
It's going to Brisbane.
It's going to go to Brisbane with you.
It's going to Brisbane with
Sydney's
you.
going to Brisbane.
Are you're moving to Brisbane, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that loss?
Yeah.
But Brisbane's gain.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely.
so you'll be able to come to Expo once in a while. Or perhaps bring a smaller model,
Yeah. We've just sort of been looking at all the tables here at work. I still haven't done a recording of with the gentleman that Jeff that did these ones. That's pretty amazing stuff.
Jeff at the Sydney display taken with these. A, because they don't have one. B, because they're commercial vessels, which is where I come from. And
he's really done the subjects justice.
Oh, like absolutely, yeah.
Just with all the scale people, and all painted really nicely, and these are all scratch built as well. I take it, but this Manly ferry here,
But I think it makes us
amazing.
Brings model alive. Things on them.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it certainly takes a lot of skill and patience.
Absolutely, yeah.
And all the choices as well, the whether it's matte or whether it's reflective, the color choices and color matching, and getting an idea of what it's going to look like, the scale, and all of those sorts of things. And the amount of work that must have gone into this is amazing. It really is.
Well, to me, they look alive.
They do. Yeah.
And this one, I think, is unique.
What a topic, right? You don't often see a ship full of watermelons.
No, you don't.
As a topic.
And vegetables.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I was talking with Bill about this one before, and wow, that's really something.
Yeah. So you're only restricted by your imagination, I think, with this.
Of course, he's still got this working steamer here, and we've taken some photos and did a little bit of a talk with him before as well.
Good.
Which we'll put up.
Yeah. So
look, this has been absolutely a pleasure talking with you about this, and certainly it looks like we've had fairly a consistent but light attendance, but that's okay. I mean, the other thing is we're getting people together, our own modelers to talk about these kits as well, which otherwise they would just be unappreciated at home. But by bringing them all together, then we can, get a real appreciation for them.
it is. I won't call it a problem because normally attendances at these sort of shows are, I won't say light on, but probably what could be expected. And there's a lot of competing factors on as well.
Yeah.
and we don't have commercial sort of sellers here. So,
But the topics are fantastic. Now, I think as the last thing,
oh
we'll
yes,
just
we need
have a
to
look at these, shall we?
look at our colleagues with the Task Force 72.
Hello, sir. Are you going? Are you just taking notes?
Yeah, just doing our report for the exhibition.
Right, right. Yeah, so this is live stream at the moment, and we're just having a look at. And I'll take a shot of you. Yeah, there's a guilty party, and we're just having a look at all of these. What can you tell us about this exhibits along here?
So we're at Task Force 72. It's Shipwright.
Okay, I'll let you carry the mic for a moment.
We do have surface ships, and this display is focusing just on submarines, which is quite an unusual thing for us. So we have a mix of 72 naval submarines, a couple of science fiction submarines.
Are any of these yours, Tony?
Yes, I do own three of them actually.
Okay.
So would you like me to point one out?
I don't know, Joey.
Yeah,
let's have a look.
Well, the first one that I will point out is the best one on the table, which is the flying submarine. For those of us old enough, that was from the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea with Richard Basehart.
Three guys, but you just look at it from this angle.
This is actually an operational submarine. It has 4 pump jets, so that it can basically turn on its own footprint. It has ballast tank, a lot of electronics in the watertight cylinder, battery compartments.
Sweet.
And it actually goes under the water quite well and comes back to the surface quite well.
Which is quite important, I would imagine.
Yes, going down and staying down is not a good look. So the next one that I have is called the Hecht. This is a German experimental submarine, World War II. They only built about 5 of these, and this one, again, has a watertight cylinder with all of the electronics for the radio, the motors in the back and the servos. Up the front is the water pump, an air pump, so it pumps water into here to sink the submarine, and then it pumps the water out as well.
Nice.
And when it pumps it in, it pressurizes either side, which again helps when it's trying to surface. It empties the tanks. So this is quite a robust submarine. This can go down to well below 3 meters and come back up quite well. Some of the others, so this other one is another one of mine. And again, this is a submarine from a kit. That's a plastic kit. And this is an aftermarket watertight cylinder made by the RC sub guy in the United States. Again, electronics all down here, ballast tank, and then the battery compartment. And this submarine has an air pump that draws air in from the snorkel, which will force the water out of the ballast tank. And that's how it empties the ballast tank as it's near the surface. But to submerge, the valve opens and water comes into the ballast tank. The next one along is the Gato. Similar system, except that it's got a gas cylinder in it, which you put carbon dioxide, and it uses that to essentially give the submarine some buoyancy to start the rise to the surface. Once it rises to the surface, there's a float system inside the conning tower that opens up a valve and allows the blower and pump in here to draw air into the watertight cylinder ballast tank, and it surfaces. So you can use, all the submarines can run on the surface, and they also run really well under the water as well.
Right, so you've taken this to a number of locations, have you?
Yes, so the best place to run a submarine is in a pool, so you can see it and you know where it is at all times.
So not Lake Ginninderra then?
No, definitely not. Although we have run a sister ship of this one. This is the I-53, a Japanese submarine. There actually has been one run here in the lake, but I think mostly it was on the surface. I don't think it did much deep diving. But yeah, we run these. One of our carriers and they've got a massive Olympic pool, and run it in the pool, and it's just watching 6 feet of of water and the submarine's just cruising around.
And you can see clear as day.
Yes,
there it is, you know.
it's just magic. Yeah,
Fantastic.
and
Really, not only do you have of going technical, which
we do cheat. We do cheat.
I can't believe that.
Yes, there are some of the guys here, and a couple of the watertight cylinders are handmade by a couple of the members. But I cheated. I found someone in the States that could make them, and he made them for me. But the connecting them all up, converting the model to a running model rather than just a static display, yeah, I'll take credit for that.
Still got to put it together though.
Exactly.
And trim it
and control it.
and control it and make sure that it surfaces up.
There's a bit more to it.
See, I can put mine on a stand, and that's where they're going to stop.
Yeah, and I can understand that. That's fine. But yeah, as you can, you know, every submarine here, either I think there's 2 that are surface runners, but the rest are all operational. So they dive.
You just had a dig at him, but you know you can have a dig at each other. Like you could pretty much say, well, there's no rigging on this, so and I can just wash it with water. Whereas your kits, oh, you got to dust them.
I think we have what I call mutual respect.
Yeah, definitely mutual respect.
I mean, yeah.
So that's I can't talk much about the other submarines because I haven't built them.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a fair bit of work. I know this one here, Carl. It's one of our members, and he actually scratch built just about this submarine. And I think this one even fires torpedoes. It's
oh my
a
goodness,
masterpiece. This one.
Wow, it's facing that way just in case.
Yes. So an unusual collection of submarines, and indeed, it's the first Task Force 72 display where we've just had submarines for many, many years. So it's quite an unusual display for us.
But it's a good one.
I think it's good. It's beautiful. Something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
So, are you actually working on any further ones? I mean, that's quite a lot already.
I have a Type 23, which is just similar to the one just before my yellow submarine. That's sort of half started, but I've been building surface ships of more recent years because our club we build surface or submarines, and I've just had a bit of an inkling for submarines. So that's what for surface ships. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for showing us the ships.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us here.
Wow. That's just another part, another dimension of what's here. And these in person. Do you actually have you had presentations of them being submersed? So do you have a local pool where you show off?
Not in Canberra, I don't believe. So I'm from Sydney. In Sydney, we sail up at Wentworth Falls in the Blue Mountains. You can sail your submarine there, but just don't go out very far and don't go very deep. That's the secret. So as I said, Wagga Wagga is where we really have a get together once every June on the long weekend. And yeah, it's just an Olympic pool is a perfect place for a submarine regatta.
And it's just great that you're also here showing off what's been put into these. It's a great topic.
It's been our pleasure. It's just great to be here again with you guys. It's great.
Yeah, because one of the things I think that, I don't know whether Tony thoughts with me or not, if you look around at the membership, and not exactly juveniles, but one of the problems that we have, all that sort of stuff, and the fingers don't get quite as agile as they should. And I think it's a real problem because I would hate to see this sort of thing just give way to the ravages of iPads and things like that. So,
but unfortunately, we're all aging, and I'm sure you've had the same thing where members have passed on and with their collections, and there's only so many boats and submarines their wives are willing to put up with in the lounge room these days. Much better. Much better.
Plea for members.
Yes. We've had an increase in influx in members, but not teenagers. They're
No,
in
no.
their 30s, 40s, to career changes and
I'm looking for younger people, around 50, 60,
Yeah.
something like that.
that'd be handy.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Take anyone really, anyone.
Oh, not anyone,
No, anyone.
but no, it's a fascinating hobby, and I
Yeah.
think it's one that is quite often is practiced, particularly with static modelling, is practiced within people's garages, and that's where it stays.
Yeah, and we do have an interest interstate. So you've come from interstate.
Yep.
We do get people here from interstate. So there is an Australian-wide interest.
Well,
in this
our
hobby.
society alone, we have members in Western Australia, Brisbane. So, but that's we don't get the chance to get together all that often, but we do through our newsletter. We'll try and keep it alive for as long as we can.
Yeah, definitely.
This has been absolutely fantastic talking with people. Is there anyone else that we should bug before we finish off? So maybe bug.
He's spoken with Steve about his 3D printing. Have you already done that?
We haven't really done that yet. We could do that now. I was going to do a separate session later.
Well, I think
We'll do a separate session, like an actual.
Yeah, I think that would be very beneficial because there's quite a lot to it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, talk about it, properly. But this live stream has been great because we've been able to see, a sort of a personal view from your perspective on what's here at the show, and also get an insight into some of the effort that's been put into it. And, maybe we should. Where is he gone? Nope, he's gone.
I don't think you'd be annoying anyone here.
It's been our pleasure, hasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
No, it's great. I don't know what kind of audience you lead to, but
Oh well, it's scale modelers everywhere. I mean, Shipwrights has been a very strong and very important area of scale modeling. It's something that shouldn't be overlooked. And certainly, when you see these on display in person, oh my God, it's such fantastic work. So it's almost a pity, as you say, your point about not wanting to have things succumb to the ravages of iPhones and iPads and computer technology. I think we can join them together to some degree, but it still doesn't beat actually seeing this stuff in person.
Yep.
No, I often do wonder whether our motto, which is we strive towards perfection, which doesn't mean to say we've reached it. I certainly haven't. And it says nothing about the materials that you can build things from.
At the end of the day, this is actually fun. People enjoy
It's got to be fun, otherwise.
And people do get serious; they go right into things, but it's passion that is that. As part of the fun. And, it's absolutely fantastic. Should we finish up now? Okay, so we'll finish up now. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're done.
You can have that back.
Great.
Done.
Okay.
Yep, it is.